So, hello again, and I thought I would do another video today. I've just done two other videos. One video is about censorship and the fact that YouTube removed one of my videos about Bill Gates' book on how to stop the next pandemic, and the video after that I did was on Veritasium's video about planned obsolescence. It's titled "Why Conspiracies Exist." I think it's got conspiracy in the title, and yeah, I've made videos about that also. But this video is I thought I would do a walk and talk, and because it's a nice day, I'm having a lunch break, and I do apologize. My hair, yeah, hair and makeup, they're on strike. They won't help me. But okay, so I thought I was going to do a walk and talk because I've got things on my mind, and I thought I'm going to see if I can squeeze them out in an interesting way, with this camera shoved in front of me. And let's try and get some value out of this. And before we, as we go forward, I do have some interviews lined up with some, I think, very interesting people. One person in particular, they have a YouTube channel, and they talk about finance and the stock market, things like that. They are a very credible person, and I can't wait to interview them, and hopefully that's going to happen soon. But so on this channel of mine, I am going to offer some interviews, and I'm really looking forward to them because there's some very interesting people I've got lined up. It's just a matter of me being in the right place at the right time, and their availability, that sort of thing. But those interviews are coming, so I can't wait for that. That's going to be really, really good. Now, that's if I still have a YouTube channel. YouTube censorship is just ridiculous. I'm having to really think about what I'm talking about. Although, the real hot button topics are definitely COVID, the pandemic, and vaccine. You just can't talk about those subjects. The powers that be do not want you to talk about those subjects. They just don't. So what you are told in the mainstream news media, that's what you have to believe, and that's the truth. That they want you to believe. You can't have an opinion that differs from what the mainstream media tells you on those subjects. So I will just leave that with you. I mean, if you've got half a brain, you should know what that means. Anyway, so yeah, as you know, on this channel, I chat about all sorts of things. I tend to go off at tangents, and prattle away with my opinion, and I am self-critical. A lot of things I wish I could say better, and so I am trying to put my content into shorter sentences so I can make the point quicker, and also just increase the value of the content and the accuracy information. So I'm aware of that, and I'm hoping to achieve that. But anyway, back to this walk and talk. The reason that I thought I do the walks and talks is that it's a way to get out all the information and thoughts that are whizzing around. If you script what you think you're going to say, and then you do a talking piece to camera with a script, it can be very restrictive, and it stops you offering information that might be valuable. Actually, Maybe I should stick to a script. And I apologise. I do look aside. This walk and talk today. Yeah, so recently I've been chatting about finance, equity, private equity finance, Bitcoin, cryptos, the government, conspiracy theories, planned obsolescence, business, the changing world, AI, the new world order. A new world order, because we have new world orders over time anyway as technology changes, but we're heading into, everyone knows that we are in an information technology new world order today. But I suppose we're on the brink of, although some people will argue we're already in the AI enabled new world order, and that would be true actually. If you want to take that view, that would be a true statement. But where are we heading in the future with respect to technology, industry, manufacturing trends, cultural trends, consumer trends, that sort of thing? Because this shapes and modifies our society, really. So electric vehicles, how interesting is that? I mean, that is a massive new thing. We are most definitely moving away from hydrocarbon fuel-based, cars to electric. That is the way that we are going. One of the things, though, that really worried me, and I'm going back a few years now, is the raw materials for the battery packs for all these planned electric vehicles, all these special rare earth materials that have properties that really benefit electric motors and battery packs. Does the earth have enough raw material to make these products that that we're going to want to buy? The entire world is going to want to have an electric car sooner or later, and irrespective of the cost and the financials and all that sort of thing, do we have the raw materials to actually make, or to meet the demand that we are going to put on the manufacturers? I do find this very interesting, especially with population growth projections, and I've mentioned this before. I've spoken about population growth. I'm very concerned, so this is me speaking now, and it's just my opinion once again, but I am really concerned about population growth and about climate change. Now, straight away you'd think that puts me into the into the World Economic Forum category. Well, actually I am I wouldn't say I'm a member of the World Economic Forum, but not because I fully support these guys. It's more because I want to know what they're thinking and saying. But you would think I would be one of these people that really likes the mainstream news media and really likes people that don't like Elon Musk, and you would think I would I'd be an insider because I say climate change is a problem and population growth. You'd think I would really get along with Bill Gates and people like that. Now, people like Bill Gates, they worry me greatly because I'm never sure about their real motives. I would like to believe their motives, but I don't know. When I hear somebody talk publicly about a thing, and that thing they have a high vested interest in, financially, it always makes me think, no, I don't believe you. I think you're, the person's a shill, or they're up to mischief. So, but anyway, you would think I would be one of these people that supports the these hidden hand conspiracies and that sort of thing. But anyway, I'm not. But I am I'm a normal person that thinks that climate change, population growth is a massive problem for us. And the related issues like natural resource usage, the continued burning of fossil fuels anyway, and carbon footprints. Because believe it or not, whatever you do, even though it might be eco-friendly, you are burning some hydrocarbons somewhere in the supply chain. You can't get away from it. So I really believe that we're at a point in our evolution, the year 2022, and society and the world has got some big decisions to think about. Big decisions, but also big issues to think about that are going to create some decisions that need to be made. And these are really concerning. I can't stress how serious I think climate change, world population is. I think it is real, and I think the consequences are very real for the future. So, so that's my opinion. I'm allowed to have an opinion, and if we have free speech, that should be okay. But what do I think is the solution to these problems? Well, first of all, the very first thing that we can do that's free, doesn't cost anything, is to just simply have the awareness. And we know that, if we take if you look at psychology, or if you look at management systems, or sociology, if you look at anything that looks at behaviour, most of the time 70% to fixing a problem is simply achieved by the awareness in the first place. So the fact that we're talking about climate change and population growth and usage of natural raw materials, 70% of fixing that problem is simply done by the fact that we are talking about it. So that's a real positive. But very quickly, what comes in behind it is the changing that that awareness falling flat on its face because we don't do anything about it. It simply stops at that point. And that's, I believe, where we're at in the world today. This paralysis that we are experiencing because of vested interest by the people, by the decision makers, the people that actually have agency over changes. They become paralyzed in making those changes because of their own self-interest. So, for example, the oil industry. If you project the transition from petrol cars to electric cars, a lot of their business is going to be removed. So straight away, it's a rough example, but you can see where I'm going. At the same time, mining in companies that mine raw materials out of the ground, every single component of the car's electric battery and other rare earth and other materials that come out the ground, straight away they have a vested interest in going in the direction that they think the consumer market is going in. So electric vehicles for mining companies, is an opportunity. But this is why all oil companies also look at investing in those areas, if not buying those areas, which we know is happening. So we end up always, with these big ticket issues, looking at how it all really works. And if they're real big items, it's always at a government level and a world level. But of course, these companies are international companies. They do work all around the world, and they end up having massive control over the decision making. This is the challenge. These are the challenges. I suppose it's obvious to many people. And if you have conversations with people in these industries, they will tell you that they're focused, that they're committed, they have high levels of awareness, and they are changing their policies. But the truth is, are they really? Because we know that lots of changes end up being diluted or being paused or being changed materially. So the initial objective has changed, net result being the real change that's needed doesn't happen. So that does happen. So what does it mean? Right. In other videos, I think I've spoken about big government, a new world order, changing face of business. And the reason that I talk about these things is because they are all directly linked. So you change a culture, you change society, you change demands from that society that end up in commercial opportunity or for the private sector, for organisations, for the economy, and which again have a spin-around effect back on society, on culture, on trends, on behaviour. So everything is interlinked. So I'm going to shoot off just for a tangent, just for a moment. So what does this mean today, based on what the world is like today? We have technology that's really interesting and very cool. We have these technologically advanced capabilities, like flying, space rockets that can do an awful lot more than the original space rockets of the 60s and 70s. What it means is that you could argue that going back to the 70s, 80s and early 90s, that we had a world that was run by economic opportunity. So this is where capitalism really had a shot at governing activity, because it was pretty much legitimate. We could make new things. There would be demand for these things because they were good, and companies could make profit and create economic activity, employ people, and the world turns around. So that all works really well. But what we have today, because of technology, is changes are coming in place. Long story short, we're ending up with a policy-driven world. Now, I've mentioned this before, and I don't think I've clearly explained what that means. But what that means is that human beings end up deciding what is good and bad. Human beings end up deciding what you will buy and what you need. And never more has that been illustrated in the recent pandemic, for example. I think to a very scary and dangerous aspect of being forced to take these medical interventions. Anyway, but okay, so if I use consumer products like smartphones as an example, look at the pressure on young people to have the latest smartphone. You could argue that's always the case, but look at the pressure on young people. Actually, my goodness, being a young person today, look at house prices. Look at the job market. You could argue that the job market, that there are jobs out there, yes, but look at the job market, salaries, and look at house prices. And it must be very daunting for a young person today, unless you've got parents that are extremely wealthy, and you need to be extremely wealthy to afford property today. And those parents are willing to give you a helping hand and what we're talking about is a load of cash to help you. You know, you ain't gonna buy a house where only 40 years ago it was very easy. You could be a normal person with a normal job and you could pretty much easily afford a house, but today you cannot. So that is a massive change in society that is to the detriment of people. So what it means is that we're ending up in a policy-driven world, which means human beings become God, because they can decide what the culture, what society should look like, what the culture should be, what you should think, and what you should buy. And that is a very, very scary thought. But if you think to yourself, you know, oh gosh, that will never happen, I'm going to assert that it's already happening. You're already subject to it. In fact, half of your opinions and will be already not your opinions. You will think that those opinions belong to you, but I'm going to assert that you've inherited those opinions because of culture and society that you live in, and what you are subject to. The mainstream news media, your friends, culture, everything surrounding you is, if you like, you know, forming an opinion inside you without you really realizing it. You know, what is right and what is wrong, what is good, what is bad. All that stuff is almost like, you know, programming. You know, not all of it's bad. There's a lot of good stuff there, that's for sure. But anyway, I'm going back to this world, a policy-driven world that we're in. You know, what does it mean? Well, again, what it means is if the policy makers have nothing but self-interest, you can bet your bottom dollar that those policies will be against the man in the street, because that's what self-interest does. It takes self-interest is almost like a form of abuse. It's where the person with the self-interest uses another person for their own benefit without taking the other person's needs in consideration. Now look at the times that government makes a decision for its people where that is in actual fact what's happening. I mean, it's the technical definition of abuse, where a government makes a decision for you that puts their needs higher than your needs, but they will claim that it's the other way around. Abusive policy. Now, I'm not saying that everything a government does is abusive, and everything our government does is not for the benefit of people. I am not saying that. But what I'm saying is that we need awareness around how it can be bad, how it can not work, how it might be to benefit a small number of people who have the authority, power, control of those things that create the decisions. So, yeah. Anyway, I think I'm going to leave it there for this walk and talk. You know, in what I've said today, some of these things I've said before in other videos, and you know, it's unstructured. So, you know, if you're, well, I know some people will like this video because it puts them to sleep. So that's okay. I will have helped some people sleep. Plus the cats seem to like it. They seem to like these videos. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. And if you are watching this and you have anything to say, you know, if you want to slag me off or tell me I'm wrong or correct me, please put it in the comments below. I will read them. Not straight away, I might be busy, but I promise you I will read the comments. And criticism is probably better than, it's probably the stuff I like the most, because it makes me think how I can improve. And also, I don't mind being corrected, so please do write anything you want to say down below. That is quite okay. And at that, I think I'll say ciao. And this is an odd video. Once again, it's a bit of an odd one. I am aware of that. But if you are listening, I hope it's okay. I hope something has made you think, a positive, brought awareness to a negative, and there is some value. And at that, I will say, I hope you are well, and have a good day, and no doubt speak again soon.